From the folks who helped make the hottest wrestling brand on the planet a thing in the first place, to those who have seemingly burned all bridges with the competition, this talented lot will likely have all elite jobs for as long as Tony Khan feels like playing wrestling promoter. Gareth here from What Culture Wrestling, and here are 10 wrestlers who will never leave AEW. Number 10, Jon Moxley. Clearly having the time of his damn life at the time of recording, alongside Bryan Danielson, Wheeler Yuta and William Regal as part of the deliciously violent Blackpool Combat Club. The Jon Moxley scene, smashing heads and whipping all elite crowds up into routine frenzies, is about as far removed from the lunatic fringe as humanly possible. And it's because of this fact, coupled with Mox's disenchantment with Vinnie Mac's empire in particular, on the back of a soul-crushing last stint with the company, that a departure from Tony Khan's ranks appears unlikely to say the least. Add into that the highly sensitive handling and reaction to the former AEW World Champion's recent trip to rehab to seek help for his issues with alcohol abuse, and it's not too difficult to see why Mox won't be in much of a rush to kiss goodbye to a promotion that thankfully appears to value both the world-class performer and man behind the menace. Mox is in his all-elite element, whilst also being given the license to wreak havoc on the indies whilst under TK's contract. If it ain't broken all that. Number 9, FTR. Another set of lads who have very much enjoyed having their all-elite cake and eating it up on the indies as of late, come in the form of two more former WWE bruisers who were left nursing a rather bitter taste in their mouths, courtesy of the biggest wrestling company on the planet. Reduced to little more than comedic goobers by the time they'd managed to achieve the supposed tag team holy grail of holding the NXT, Raw and SmackDown tag titles at one point or another, the professional pair were even happy to be carted out in clownish get-ups dreamed up by Vinnie Mac himself on their way out of the company. Thankfully, the glow sticks and shatter machine necklaces were left on ice in the end, and Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood wiggled free from the sports entertainment juggernaut to pursue their next chapter as arguably the greatest tag team plying their trade in the business today. With Tony Khan giving the passionate pro wrestlers the freedom to craft increasingly enthralling tag clinics, and even allowing them the time to duke it out against each other in honor of one of their heroes, Owen Hart, recently, all supposed talk of FTR ever kissing goodbye to AEW is likely to be taken with a pinch of salt at this stage. Number 8, Adam Page. Paying off one of the most intricate, gripping, and satisfying storylines in recent wrestling history, the visual of Hangman Adam Page finally overcoming old pal Kenny Omega and winning the big one at Full Gear 2021 fully established AEW as a company capable of growing a promising talent into a fully fledged star. It's looking good for you, Wardlow. And even at the age of just 30 years old, and with arguably his best miles ahead of him, envisioning the AEW Original plying his trade in any other setting than Tony Khan's playground feels like a near impossible task. It's not as though other companies haven't tried to obtain the services of the angsty current reigning AEW World Champion either, with WWE being said to have offered him a deal before his All Elite chapter got underway. Hangman instead decided just to have fun with his friends, as he put it when unpacking the offer during a busted open radio appearance, and has clearly reaped the rewards up to this point. WWE will clearly still be keeping their eyes on Page from afar, but the smart money will be on Cowboy Shizzle staying put for the foreseeable. Number 7, Sting. If ever there was an example of the intrinsic differences between AEW and WWE's handling of generational icons, the presentation of Sting from December 2020 onwards highlights just how far apart the two promotions are on the subject. Becoming an ever-present personality on AEW programming alongside fellow face-painted outcast Darby Allin, the icon has been gifted countless opportunities to prove he still has something to offer in the way of in-ring performance, whilst also still not stealing the spotlight away from the next generation. This is in stark contrast to his rather depressing run within the walls of the Land of the Giants, being forced onto the sidelines indefinitely post Seth Rollins' buckle bomb, and eventually relegated to the part of notable backstage presence and occasional significant WWE Network interviewee. How prestigious. In all honesty, All Elite Wrestling and Stinger is a match made in heaven at this current moment in time, meshing shameless nostalgia with respectful passing of the torches aplenty, so why would the WCW legend pass up on such a good deal in favor of risking being once again misused elsewhere? Number 6, CM Punk. Finally confirming the worst-kept secret of 2021 and re-emerging onto the wrestling scene as part of All Elite Wrestling with a tear in his eye, CM Punk made his official comeback to the world of professional wrestling, and with the one-time voice of the voiceless now rediscovering the in-ring and on-the-stick form that initially made him a household name, would there be any real sense in blowing a definitive kiss and hopping over the All Elite guardrail? If his evident living of his best life within the ropes of TK's promotion wasn't enough evidence of his current home likely being his last ever within the wrestling sphere, then the fact that WWE WWE was apparently interested in bringing Punk back and even offered him a deal pre-AEW, only for the former WWE champion to laugh off their approach, claiming they played games speaks volumes. The best in the world is now routinely proving he's precisely just that. And with the potential AEW World Championship reign right around the corner, Punk is well aware that the grass won't get much greener elsewhere. Number 5, Jade Cargill. Another current All-Elite focal point who was once courted by Vince McMahon's Titanic promotion, also seems very much happy to keep on keeping on under the AEW banner. He'll be forgiven for seeing the logic in an eventual move over to the world of sports entertainment when it pertains to that bitch. And even Cargill herself has noted how the glitz and glamour seen in WWE is something she herself still loves. But the current undefeated TBS champion was also quick to highlight how different her burgeoning career would have likely played out had she opted to take WWE up on their offer. When talking to Complex Uncensored, Cargill stated, "I made a choice, I stuck with my choice, and I would never ever get the debut that I got here at AEW if I had gone to WWE. Like I would never." The overall increased job security offered up by Tony Khan's promotion also appealed to Cargill, with the star citing on Talk Is Jericho her desire to not want to be cut or have to worry as another reason why she knows she made the best decision. All signs point to Cargill and her baddies very much remaining All Elite. Number 4, Britt Baker. It'd likely take a seismic shift on a great many fronts to force Britt Baker to reconsider her place as part of the land of All Elite. If the fact that her partner Adam Cole has just recently rocked up in her workplace, and that the doctor is still given the freedom to run a damn dental practice in her downtime, whilst under AEW contract, aren't big enough reasons for her to remain All Elite, the former AEW Women's Champion's clear distrust of the opposition will likely prove too steep a hurdle to overcome for either party. As Baker explained recently when discussing WWE's interest, "They definitely expressed interest. Unfortunately, I've got to pick and choose how I say this, but I just feel like you can't trust anything with that company. Whereas at AEW, I've never been promised anything that didn't follow through. So don't expect to see this face of AEW wander over to the other side to confront Becky Lynch over her recent provocative women's division comments anytime soon." Number 3, Kenny Omega. For a time, Kenny Omega blowing the roof off of a WWE arena as a surprise entrant in a Royal Rumble match almost felt like a formality, didn't it? Here we are, some 5 years or so on from those rumblings of a cleaner walking in the very same footsteps of another one-time Bullet Club leader, and the sight of the former AEW World Champion being the second All-Elite EVP to turn his back on the white-hot promotion is one you can all but count on never becoming a reality. Omega is about as all-in on all things AEW as humanly possible, with his fingerprints found on everything from the incoming All-Elite video game to the presentation of the company's women's division, so to suddenly jump ship wouldn't entirely add up. Admittedly, Cody likewise seemed to be very much steeped in TK's brand, starring in his own TNT reality TV show among many other things. Yet despite Omega's contract with AEW running out next year, the promotion's increasingly positive relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling and enthusiasm in presenting an alternative to the likes of WWE will likely be enough to retain the services of the best bout machine indefinitely. Number 2, the Young Bucks. Perhaps the most obvious candidates for the All Elite Forever Society can be found spearheading undoubtedly the strongest tag division assembled in modern times. And that's not by accident, as both Matt and Nick Jackson have both made their desire to shine a spotlight on duos action known from the minute AEW became a thing back in January 2019. Routinely putting on tag masterclasses, regularly finding themselves at the forefront of some of the strongest storylines occupying wrestling at present, and earning a boatload of cash working under a boss who clearly shares their vision. These AEW EVPs seem to have doubled down on their all-elite pride in the wake of the American Nightmare's shocking departure, whether simply playing the kayfabe game or letting their true feelings be known. The brothers' recent string of Twitter bios involving claims of their story of self-made kids who came from nothing, building a gigantic movement not being romantic enough for Cody Rhodes, act as the boldest statement yet of their intent to remain all elite. And with the undisputed elite now officially forming yet another can't-miss element of weekly AEW programming, the Bucks extending their deals past January 2024 appears about as inevitable as another run with the tag or a set of trios belts before long. Number 1, Eddie Kingston. From the minute the realest guy in the game, Eddie Kingston took up a microphone on his way down to the ring for an eventual no disqualification match over the TNT Championship against that man again, Cody Rhodes, fans knew they were witnessing something kinda special. A last chance, a lifeline, a much-deserved spotlight. Whatever you want to call it, Kingston seized the moment and has refused to loosen his grip ever since. And ever the loyal man in the trenches, frequently burying the likes of WWE for not listening to their fans, Kingston looks very much content to see out the rest of his days under Tony Khan's stewardship, saying as such during a recent The Straight Shooters interview. As he put it, AEW gave me my shot first, right? You know what I mean? I'm a loyal guy. I'm not knocking anybody, just chill. But when people say, yeah, I'm here forever, that's cool. That's them. I'm telling you from me, and my word is bond, I ain't got nowhere else to go and don't want to be be anywhere else. Kingston for AEW World Champion? Do the right thing, Tony. And that's our list. Know of any other wrestlers who will never leave AEW? Let us know all about them in the comment section right down below, and do not forget to like, share, and click on that subscribe button while you're at it. Also, if you like this kind of thing, then head on over to whatculture.com and find some more awesome articles just like the one this video you're watching right now is based on. I've been Gareth from What Culture Wrestling. Thank you, as always, for clicking on one of these videos today, and I'm sure I'll see your faces very, very, very soon. Bye-bye.